Hello. Hold on one second, because I'm nasally and I need to make myself feel better. So I'm gonna put on a filter, but all these are so extreme. Can't they just have like a nice little Ooh. Oh, we're not gonna keep this one, but this is very on brand. Very on brand, guys. This would be way too distracting for the live stream. Whoa. Whoa. Uh, at least I crack myself up, guys. This is good, right? Oh, you get what you get. Hi, everybody. Um, I, hi. I'm really excited to talk to you guys. This is the situation we're working with. It's fine, right? You guys don't mind? I didn't put on any makeup. I didn't do my hair. It's snowy. It's beautiful outside. It is really coming down. I checked the weather this morning when it was starting to like really pick up, and it said that we're due for 3 to 5 inches of snow. But it looks like we've already gotten 2, and it's supposed to snow all day. So I don't know if some of that's gonna melt, but it is like a beautiful winter wonderland outside. It is so pretty. Everybody hates snow. You guys know, if you know me, I love winter. I love the snow. It is like an inconvenience, yeah, but I just feel like it's so cozy. It's so nice. I love it. Hi, Victoria. How are you? I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in so long. I do have like a sinus thing going on. Whoa! 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 Okay, I have the window in this room open, and some sort of bird or animal or something shook one of the branches at the top of the tree, and like all of this snow just started like blizzarding down, and it looked crazy. Let me see. Do you guys want to see outside really quick? I hope I don't lose connection. And you're gonna see like my painting easel. But let me see if I can show you guys the snow right now outside this window because it is so pretty. I don't know how to do this. Oh, just a little bit of. Do you see? Look at the snow. That's my bamboo plant. Look at how pretty. It's really coming down too. Okay, so anyways, let me bring it back here. Let me bring it back here. That's my living room. I just thought you guys had to see them because it is so pretty. Um, and this is when all of like the locals will be like, "Oh my God, I'm not ready." Like it's so gross out. Um, I'm looking forward to that when I move to Colorado. I love Colorado. I am a hot mess. Okay. Hi Jess. Hi Madeline. How are you? Okay. All right, we're back. I just had to show you that. And then those trees, that pine tree right there, and that coming to my neck of the woods soon. Morning, beautiful. Yeah. Oh, you mean the snow is coming your way? Yeah. I have I miss having actual winter. Florida here is chilly-ish. That is it. Hi, Charmaine. Hello, Sammy. Oh, snow. I've never experienced snow in person, living in a small island in the Mediterranean. You're fascinating. I want to talk to you. So let's just chit chat a little bit before we get into some really metaphysical and deep conversations. Hopefully, that's where you guys want to take this convo. Obviously, I'm going to bounce off wherever you feel like you want to be. But if you're here now, the live stream is all about the Lightworker's Guide to the Astral Realm. And this is the first live stream for the Witchy Book Club. There's going to be 3 in this book. This is part 1, and there's going to be part 2 and part 3. And that's how the book is kind of sectioned anyway, so it made it real easy to break it up. So we'll be going over part 1 today in a short while. But I haven't talked to you guys in a while. Haven't really been able to post that much on my channel because I've been working. I was traveling out of state for about a week in Chicago, And before that, I was like prepping to go and trying to finish client readings and things like that. Um, and I've opened up my uh, tarot and oracle readings again now that I'm back. Um, and then I have a few more natal chart readings that have been booked for November to fulfill, and then I will be opening up December's readings. So if you guys want a reading from me, stay tuned from that for a natal chart astrological reading. It is a Skype reading, and I only allow maybe 3 to 4 a month so that I can keep my sanity with doing all the other things that I do. And if you are interested in booking one of those, you can direct message me or email me so that I know to maybe notify you when I do post them so that you can try to nab them, because they go I'm very grateful. This isn't meant to be braggy, but they go like literally as soon as I post them. So if you guys have been interested in that and you want to know how to book yours for December, it would be really cool to start off your new year with kind of looking into your natal chart, I think. I really enjoy doing those readings. I wish I could do more a month because I love them so much. I love doing my tarot readings and oracle readings as well. But I'm just sparking a new passion again, or unlocking that passion that I have kind of locked away for almost a decade. Yeah, so it was cool. I was just looking through old journals I have, and they're right in front of me. I have like 2 bins, and I mean bins, like filled with journals. And I think Skylar and I's next podcast episode after this week's is going to be diving into our journals. We were cracking up yesterday at like my first journal that I kept when I was 5 years old. But anyways, I was looking back at some of the ones when I was like 15 and 16, and I was like breaking down all of my natal chart and like explaining certain things. And I was like feeling very nostalgic and like just like, wow, I don't know, I've just missed that part of my practice in helping other people unlock their natal charts because it was such like an influential thing in my life. Anyways, not to self promo that much, but it's just been wild because Mercury retrograde in Scorpio has made me want to deep dive into my emo poem journals, and they are triggering. Like, it was so embarrassing, but like also very like weird to be reading like these like, and the blood curdles inside my soul. Skylar was listening to some of these poems and he was like, oh, were you okay? I was like, I don't think so. I don't think I was. So anyways, I did. So the weirdest thing, this sinus thing that I have going on, I actually feel fine. I rested a couple days ago and made sure that it didn't progress to anything more than like a sinusy thing. So before I left for Chicago, I cracked a filling and I couldn't get into the dentist. So when I came back, this was like Thursday, I went to the dentist and they looked at it and he's like, do you have time to do it now? And I was like, oh yeah, let's do that because I don't want to come back. Excuse me. So I was feeling fine. He gave me the 2 numbing shots up here to fix the crack in the filling. He totally redid it in like less than a half hour. It was amazing. So I left and my whole face was numb the whole day. And then when the numbing started to wear off, this side of my nose started just like pouring, and like it just stopped. Like it wouldn't stop, I mean. And then ever since then, it like unlocked some sort of sinus thing that I've had blocked. And I'm honestly grateful for it because I don't need all that in there. I'd rather just like release it, be a little congested and have a sinus thing going on, and then move on with my day, because it could have turned into something, bigger, or maybe like whatever. So that's why I am congested AF, and I'm okay with it. Taking care of myself. I had just a bunch of water with lemon in it, and Victoria says, tea or coffee, Sam? I have a newish holiday mug. Teal with gingerbread houses. I love it. This is my Gemini mug. This is one of my favorite mugs. One of you guys gave me, and it is coffee. I kind of wish it was peppermint tea because that's what I've been obsessed with lately. But But anyways, I do have the diffuser going next to me with pine, um, Young Living pine. You can't see it because it didn't want to focus. And eucalyptus. This is not the best brand of essential oils this now, but it's okay. So that's that. All right, what's up with you guys? That's what I've been doing. That's where I've been. It's been really hard for, why not peppermint mocha coffee? I put candy canes in my coffee, not this cup, but maybe the next cup. Oh my God, that sounds amazing, Victoria. That sounds amazing. Yeah. So what's up with you guys? We have a few of us here, and I'm sure more people normally kind of come in as we go. But what's been new? It's been a while. And anything exciting going on in your world? Anything that you're excited to maybe talk about and dive into with the book today, or maybe some other books that you're reading? I just posted in the Witchy Book Club Facebook group, like non-Witchy Book Club wow, that's really hard to say. Processing. My mom passed away on Halloween. Right now is a good moment. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry about that. Was it expected? I mean, you never expect that, but I'm so sorry. That's a hard thing to deal with. Wow. That's so recent too, Victoria. I'm here if you need me, really. Genuinely. Do you see how it changes the color of the filter when I drink my cup? Makes me look evil. Evil. I am so sorry about that, Victoria. Anybody else? Anybody? Do you guys? It's a scrunchy day. All right. No one's saying anything other than Victoria. Oh, there's more. Okay. That's really intense, Victoria. I'm truly sorry. Emery's here. You're hilarious. You're very funny, Emery's. But yeah, Victoria, we are all here for you. If you need anything, you always reach out, and hopefully this will be a little bit of a break, or like a little bit of like a just kind of a this isn't going to be a funny live chat. But maybe this will kind of just give you a moment to kind of check in with another part of your brain, So, with that, I think we're going to start. Is that okay, guys? Anyone else have anything to share? If not, I'm going to start into it. If you guys just type, and then I'll stop and we'll talk about it. So this book was something, this topic of this book was something that I've wanted to kind of touch on, and I actually have touched on in my channel before. I think last year, maybe a year and a half ago, I did a series about, I think I titled it like my paranormal experiences, and there's like 4 or 5 different videos, not all of them being like ghost related. There is like astral travel stories or things like that. Isn't it so cool that we're reading this on 11/11? It is 11/11. Cute. Somebody tell me when it turns 11/11, because I'm sure that we will be still live streaming. That's so cute. So this is a topic that I've always been very interested in, and in fact, we will talk more as the live stream progresses. I don't want to just force this on you guys before we even begin, because I think there's sections in part 1 that bring this up really organically. But back, I would say maybe 8 years ago, 8 years ago or so, 8 or 9 years ago, I became aware of astral travel, astral projection, the astral body in a different way, because I had been going to a metaphysical church, studying things like Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, Louise Hay in a different way. Than that, it got real deep. So that was like the surface. When I started diving into more of like Deepak Chopra type things, like the searches and the books and all of that led me to Robert Monroe's Institute in Virginia, which is all about astral travel. And about 8 or 9 years ago, I was heavily invested in learning and experiencing and journeying and practicing what astral travel was all about. However, it's been a long time. I'll take the snow for 500, please, Alex. Power hiccup. But I knew exactly what you were like trying to convey in that topic. That was so cute, Victoria. Um, so, however, I am going to be talking about my experiences. I'm going to be talking about things that I had learned, maybe resources that I had looked into or that I might find along our journey with this book. However, I am no damn expert, and I am going to go so far as to say there are very few people who could call themselves experts on this type of topic because it is such a like an uncontainable thing to be an expert on. Do you know what I mean? Unobtainable thing to be an expert on. But and it's going to be funny to see how reading this and thinking about this is going to be kind of like unlocking things from the past that I had really been deep, and when I mean deeply, I mean like really deeply invested in, like daily readings, daily things like that. So I've been wanting to bring this back. However, some of the books that we've done in this book club, I felt very knowledgeable about the topic, even if the book was kind of straying away from what I knew. I was able to incorporate my thing to the table on this, and I will with this, but I'm going to be learning what this author's providing on this topic along with you guys, if that makes sense. And I wanted to start off saying that because, there's going to be things in here which I might go like, I never thought of that. But we'll see how it goes. I am not familiar with Savannah Arienta. I tried to look into her. She's got a cute little Instagram. She's only got like 20 posts. I've been to her website. It's the author. And Savannah on the back says, work aims to help others recognize their authentic selves and find purpose in living a heart-centered existence. Her unique style and her ability to deeply connect to others have been revolutionary sources for change in lives of her clients worldwide. She is the author of numerous popular books, including Lightworker and the Lightworker'S Source. You can find out more about Savannah in her website. So this is a Red Wheel Wiser book, and the reason why I found this particular book is because Red Wheel Wiser sent this to me in one of their book shipments to me. Sorry, my eye is itchy. Back when they had sent me a couple books to kind of like go over, to review, to see how I liked. I was so happy that like they wanted to send me books. Like, who am I? You know what I mean? Like, oh, so cool. And the books they've sent me so far have all been really cool. They sent me, I think I talked about this in one of our other live streams, but they sent me the Little Book of Saturn, Tarot for the Troubled Times. They've sent me a palmistry book. They've sent me, I think there's been 2 shipments, and there's been a few books in each shipment. And then, they'll tell me, see on the website which topics like you're interested in, because I'm sure they don't want to send me books that they don't think that I will even like. So I tried to get kind of an assortment of things. And this one sparked my interest, and so this was one of the ones they sent me. And there is this little total transparency. I mean, there's nothing to hide. They're not paying me, and they didn't do anything like that. They just basically said, hey, talk about the books somehow, see if you like them. If you want to do reviews, great. Just here you go. Work with us, talk with us. What a dream, right? Like, how cool. Book dream right there, literally, right? And so this came with this cute little note in here from Michelle, who is the woman that I was speaking to over at Red Wheel. It says, hey, Sammy, enjoy your reads. Out of Your Hands was such a cool read. That is the palmistry book that I have not started yet. It's one of the only ones I haven't started that they sent me. Definitely taught us a lot. Let me know when this gets to you. So this is what was in here. I think they also published Warrior Goddess Training. Victoria, they have published a shitload of books. Red Wheel Wiser is amazing. And really, it's interesting because before I really started diving in deeper to my spiritual practice again, I wasn't someone that really cared about the publisher or even really like anything like that. I never knew publishing companies. Like it didn't matter to me back when I was really starting on this spiritual journey in like high school and in early college. I was like, I don't care who published it. Who gives a fuck? Do I like the book? Do I like the author? You know? Um, and so just up until the last year or so, have I really been like, who published this? You know what I mean? Where is this coming from? Where is the source? Where is I'm looking into more of that? And so learning, like Hay House and things like that, and Red Real Wiser. Red Real Wiser is amazing. And I'm not just saying that because they sent me free books. Like, you go on their website and you look into them, they've done a lot and they have really great um, content on their website that's so highly curated towards shit that you guys are like. So if you haven't been there before, they've given me a 30% off code before. It's expired at this point. I can reach out to them and try and get it again if you guys want. If you're looking into getting books for the holidays or just for yourself, or if you want to pick this one up, I'll try and get a discount code for you guys. So, anyways, I keep seeing something out of the corner of my eye, but I think it's just, see that flash in my glasses? I don't think it's anything weird. Also, my glasses are kind of dirty. They didn't publish Warrior Goddess Training. That's Hierophant. The book I read from Red Wheel was Odin by Diana L. Paxson. Cool. That sounds interesting. How did you like it, Odin? Maybe I'll ask them if they can send me that. I think they offer some decks too. They do offer decks. And what's cool is if you go to their website, literally they did not tell me to do this. I just really, I haven't talked to them in a few months, I think. So, but if you go to their website, redwheelwiser.com, I think, like you can search by categories. So if you want to look up like self-help books, if you want to look up tarot, if you want to look up astrology, whatever you want to look up, and then all of those will come up, and it's like such curated stuff that it's really cool. And then I think on the side there's a part for like decks and things like that. Can you guys hear me okay? Because all right, we're 20 minutes into this. Let's get going. All right, I'm gonna stop talking about that. So we're reading part 1. Let me make notes. Okay. It was really good. I have to go back and go exercise. Go exercise by exercise for both Warrior Goddess Training. Excellent for self-healing and Odin. That's great. Were you just curious about Odin, Victoria, or were you like just wanting to read that book, or was it something that you were suggested? You're good, Sammy. Thank you. I feel like I can't project right now. Hillary, what's up, love? Love this topic. I'm ordering the book as well as we speak. I'm a little late, but super excited about this one. You'll catch up quick. It's not very dense. It's super small, but like I'm actually really enjoying this already, and we're about to dive in. So, starting, there is an introduction, and basically the introduction just explains, why astral connection and astral travel can help you and find and speed up your life's purpose and how important that could be. So it kind of just, it doesn't stop, and it doesn't ease you into anything. It basically starts you off in the introduction for like, let's do this. This is important. This can help you here in your lifetime to figure out what you're here for, to connect to yourself. All of these benefits into like looking into yourself and astral traveling and connecting to your astral bodies and astral planes. And it's not intense, but it definitely doesn't like, it doesn't shy away from easing you into the topic. It's like, look, you picked up this book. Are you ready? Here's what it's about. Here's why you should read this. Here's why it's good. I thought it was a pretty good intro to getting you geared up for what the book was about. Victoria, I found it in Barnes & Noble. I'm surrounded by the Norse gods, like a lot of them. Odin is very interested in me, and it's been a journey of what the fuck, why. Cool. Odin is very interesting to me. So that's really, really cool. I think that deity is interesting. I want to go to Trothmone with I learned about in the book. Cool. Where's that at? Nice. Maybe, I don't mean to be cheesy, but maybe you can go there and connect with him or his energy, however you think it will manifest, in astral travel. Maybe you could do that. Maybe you could ask to connect with him on an astral plane, and talk and confirm things through that. Oh, just a thought, just a thought. Okay, so we're not going to go over the introduction. That's basically what it is. It kind of gears you into like what it is got to be. Then I got to get my hands on this book. Odin is very interesting. It is, definitely. So, Lightworker's Guide to the Astral Realm, Part 1, Chapter 1, Tripping. I thought that was an interesting way to start the book off. So, anybody here read the book? Just so we know, I have to sign up for the subscription and their newsletter. And yes, does anybody have the book? Did anybody read along, or we just here for the combo? So the first thing I want to talk about is on page 4, and we're getting right into this. Okay, this is such a Jesse Huntenberg title for the Astral. Tripping. I love it. Literally. I have the book, very interesting so far, right? I didn't have low expectations, but I had very general basis expectations for such a dense conversation around something with such little content. And yes, so I'm listening while I work. Sorry, I'm quiet. You're good, Emery's. Here for the combo as usual. Good to go. You guys are good to go. Anyways, chapter 1, page 4, there's a paragraph that starts at the bottom of the page, and I'm going to read this to you. The soul travel helps alleviate so many of human ego fear-based thoughts that plague your daily life. When you become proficient at soul travel, the fear of the physical death is totally released, because you become aware that you are energetic and that energy never dies. When you realize how much your essence is aligned with a non-physical existence, fear of death is gone. You become acutely aware that death does not exist outside the physical plane. So understanding that your energetic self can move from place to place without fear of ceasing to exist totally alleviates the fear of death and dying. Victoria, if you're I hope that you're okay, because we're gonna get some deep stuff here, and we're here for you. And I don't want this to be triggering for you, but this might be kind of nice, actually. So with that, I wanted to kind of offer up and open the table up to talk about astral travel in general. What is your guys' relationships that's here that can type in the conversation? Because I know a lot of you are just listening, you might be driving, you might be doing other things, but what is your connection to your subconscious or your... Hi, Kate. I'm watching this while I straighten up my room. I was just talking to my fiance about how much I need to connect with my witchy path more. You're here. I'm so glad. Just, get your things done. I'm okay. Tears are good. Good, Victoria. So my question to you is to open up about your ideas and concepts behind, other planes and the energy bodies that we have within our physical vessel. And when you think about astral travel, it's sometimes hard for us to wrap our mind around the fact that we can disconnect, not detach, but like kind of disconnect, or kind of expand the distance between our physical body and our energetic body. And it opens us up to move and navigate through other energy realms. What I think is interesting is when you think about that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. And a lot of us who are spiritually aware have already kind of come to terms with this concept, and that's what we innately kind of recognize, and that's part of our, part of our journey into doing these sorts of things, is because we do recognize that. Um, but I can tell you that um, that really became so much more real for me when I experienced my grandfather leaving his physical body. And then again, recently, with my best friend's father leaving his physical body. I have had the honor of watching two people journey into their next part, whatever you want to call it, leaving their physical body and going back to love. However you want to term it, whatever you think. And as hard as that experience is for a lot of people, I think, I'm gonna go back. Keep writing your comments. I'm gonna go back and we'll talk about all of them, but let me just keep going here. I do think that my experiences with astral travel, or my experiences in learning about astral travel, has very much opened me up to accepting that this is such a brief moment in my energetic body's story. And watching somebody's spirit leave their body is such a wild experience, and I was so blessed and grateful to be a part of both of those moments. And I think the way that um, death and dying is portrayed in our society right now is a, is problematic and very difficult for a lot of people. I was really grateful that the process of my papa passing was such a beautiful experience, and I know that so many people do not get that. My grandfather was a very spiritual person, as well as my grandma, and he had been struggling for a very long time. And when we chose to, he knew, and he had the option as well, and he said, yes, I would like to go. And so we had that time, and I've explained this on my channel a lot. I'm not gonna go really deep into it, but being there, helping him, holding his hand, feeling the energy, and his spirit body, his energy body in between our hands, lifting above his body. And being instead of being sad, and instead of being upset that I wasn't, I'll get emotional, but it's okay. Instead of being upset, instead of being angry or upset that I won't have him anymore, we were so excited for him to not be in pain and to have these experiences, which we can sort of maybe tap into with astral travel, but that we can't fully comprehend until we're there, until we're experiencing it. But seeing him with life, and then helping him with my energy and telling him to go, and us holding on to him and pushing our energy into him to leave, and then the immediate euphoric feeling that he sent into us, that changed everything for me, because I was looking at things in such a linear way. And that really is when I was like, okay, look, he was energy. He was something tangible in a physical body, but it was so drastically different once his spirit had left his body, that I cannot say that just diminished, that just went away. There was something so powerful about the feeling of his energy in the room outside of his physical form, and it even lingered 1 or 2 days after. I know that's super intense, but that's really where it kind of made more sense to me about energy cannot be created nor destroyed, and we might not know where it goes or how it comes and goes, more than just electricity and sockets, you know. But astral travel is an interesting topic when you link it with death and dying. And I think when you start to think about, oh, I want to astral travel, or oh, I want to, have an out of body experience, will I die? Am I going to get so far removed that I'm going to detach from my physical body that I won't know how to get back? And she goes into this a little bit further into the reading. But I think thinking about that topic around energy, we're energy, we're all energy. It's very apparent to me that we're all energy. You don't believe that, that's okay. But this book definitely kind of solidifies that belief. But that, and then again, I had the same sort of experience recently with my best friend's father, who we also helped transition. And what a beautiful experience it is to see somebody get to transition like that. And I know not a lot of people get that, so I feel very, very grateful and blessed that I had that experience. But it definitely was like when my mind went to a few things when it comes to like energy in our body, and how like the body is us, but it's borrowed. It's not, it's a tangible thing, but it's not who I am. Do you know what I mean? So let me go back and see what you guys have to say. All right. I went back too far. Madeline, I recently felt like when I try to connect with spirit and my subconscious, it's been kind of dark, like empty, and I found that I've been drawn to investigating astral travel. Well, good, because you're here. Good. I'm going to give you guys some resources. Again, we're going to be talking about the Robert Monroe Institute, which is where I really kind of like quickly elevated my interests in astral travel about 8 or 9 years ago. Lennon, is that how you say your name? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? I quit, interestingly, I quit, oh no, I quite interestingly stumbled upon astral through active imagination. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I'm really, oh, my foot is asleep. I'm really interested to see in which ways you guys maybe have astral traveled or have found your ideas about what that could mean. I'm not sure if I've actually astral projected. Yeah, I think before really reading this section and kind of bringing my mindset back to like, what do I think astral travel is? I think I would have said this. If you would have astral projected, you would have known. But now I'm thinking that that might not be so true. I'm thinking back to when I was like 14 or 15, and I had a really hard time being around crowds. And I remember my dad, when we have to go somewhere and he knew that there were crowds, and I never knew why. Now I know why, because I didn't know how to fully block myself. I was too receptive to everybody else's energy, and it became really overwhelming. And what would happen is, as a defense mechanism, when I would be in crowds, like if we would go to concerts or maybe large sports games or even whatever, we were in like a pep rally or something like that, I would start to kind of like zone out because I could pick up on all of this energy from everybody, and I would start to like zone, and all the room would kind of get into like this fishbowl, and time would feel like it would go really, really, really slow, and I would start to have an out of body experience. And don't think that I think that that was my body's way and my spirit's way of like reacting to all that energy, because I didn't know how to like block and shield myself. But then I would start to have an out of body experience, but I didn't know what was happening. So then I would panic and be sent into these like crazy panic attacks where I would like have to like shake my head and like run out of the room to like get myself out of the situation I was in. And I just only like would later on realize what was happening, because it would be very apparent that I was like thinking about like, where am I, who am I, what is death, like where are all these people, like like I would start to like have these panic moments. I think in the recent podcast, Skylar and I talked about this innate feeling or experience that's called something that every single one of us at some point in our lives experience, and that's the feeling or fear or like acknowledgement about like, whoa, we're not going to be here one day kind of thing. And I think that partly that can send us into some state of out of body experience because we're so, but I feel like it could be more panicky because we don't easily transition into there. Our mind goes from we're here, we're doing our daily things, we're having a good conversation, then we're thinking about like, whoa, wait a minute. This is temporary, and then that jolts us into things. So I think there's different levels of what an out of body experience can feel like. When it comes to astral travel, like literal astral travel though, that I will say you you will know if you experience that to a more organic experience because it really is unlike anything. You know, you can get into really deep meditations. You could do you know, you can have lucid dreaming and things like that, which is very similar to how it feels. But there's still this awareness when you're lucid dreaming that you're dreaming, that you're in a dream state consciousness. At least that's how I've felt it, like experienced. Maybe that's not the same for everybody. Okay, let me keep going because I'm all over the place. For example, when I walk through bookstores near me, I find that I notice the books on it calling to me, and when I do internet searches with no aim, that I somehow find my way to the topic. I love that. Mm, I need to drink this coffee faster. Also, I found it enlightening that I found my animus in the astral. Lennon, you're gonna bring great things to this conversation. I can definitely tell. It's like it's popping up randomly in my everyday life and it's making me want to investigate it when previously I was a little bit scared of it. Still I am to a degree. And I think that's normal, you know? I think because we can be, and here's what I brought this up as well. This to me is really such a fundamental thing in um, spiritual awareness, spiritual development, and even witchcraft. If you are a witch and you study practice, any type of, you know, pagan practice, Wiccan practice, anything like that, I believe that this topic, whether or not you want to try astral traveling and things like that, I feel like looking in and thinking into that is really important. And that's what I wanted to base this witchy book club around because it's really easy for us to go and grab the books on the shelves that are like spells and this and that. And yes, that might get more views and that might get more people to want to be in these conversations because it's the stereotypical things that we should be learning. But in my opinion, having a good array of topics surrounding making our minds and our conscious living more evolved or more kind of like, not that spells don't make you evolved, it's just, I think that when we get to the root of practice, the spiritual or the connection to divine or magic or manifestation or, you know, spirit or deity, like we're talking about energy. We're talking about using energy. We're talking about tapping into different energies and connecting to our astral body and getting to know what that is and what we believe and how we think about that is like the center of everything. You know, again, you don't have to be like astral travel is the basis of witchcraft, but it's a such an inherent undertone that I feel like is really a juicy topic for people who are interested in this thing to kind of at least open their eyes to and say, look, this is real deep. This is real metaphysical shit. Um, and you know, you can make all of the essential oil blends and incense and candle magic and all that you want, but if you want to like really think about your energetic body and the astral realm and astral traveling, um, that is like the underskin of what it is in a lot of practices is connecting to that in my very not so humble opinion apparently. um so I agree with you about the problems of death, ritual rites in today's society. Grief is real, but knowing that, like the book states, energy lives on, right? Um, and some people don't believe that, and that's okay too. I know that there's a lot of people in like the online YouTube community that's very like in the tarot or spiritual community that don't believe that, and that's okay too. Everyone is here to, you know, experience things the way they want. Not here to make anyone wrong or tell anybody like this is how it is or should be. Um, but in my personal opinion, energy does live on. Um, yes, so, and the book does agree with that. Oh my God, this is just like in this book I'm reading, The Happy Empathy, where she talks about being there with her friend who had cancer, and while her family was lost in grief sadness, she held her friend's hand. She felt her inner peace and death, and it changed her whole experience empathetically with death in hospitals. When my mom passed, I asked for her transition to be peaceful. Yeah, and Victoria, the power that that in itself holds is so much greater than I think we might even realize, because I do believe it takes energy to transition. And so with my papa and us there, giving him the permission and saying like it's okay, we love you, we want you to go, like here we'll help you, we're helping you go. That like fear and that stress and that release, that just you asking for an easy transition was such a beautiful gift. It really is. Um, and shows a lot of self like self not selflessness. um it shows a lot of courage and love to her to let your own wants and needs and ego of probably wanting her to still be here go, so that you can just have her be healthy and happy and transition in peace. That's really, really beautiful. All right, I'm reading Jess's comment now. So I've experienced this before. My friend Zach was on life support after a terrible accident. Being spiritual and believing what I believe, seeing that was really hard. I spent a couple days by his side, and I went home that night and was laying in bed with all the lights off, feeling anxious and off, and I was talking to spirit. And all of a sudden, a ring of white appeared in front of me in the dark room. I could see it as clearly as day, and the feeling that came over me, the peace and comfort and relief, I just knew it was him. It was a feeling, the feeling is indescribable. It was so beautiful. That is beautiful, Jess. That is amazing. Yes, like John Lennon, the book states the ego seeks to avoid its mortality. So does that mean the Jungian term that the self projects, or is it the ego that does the traveling? Hmm. Good question, Lennon. What do I believe? Uh, I've had wildly different experiences. So I've had an experience where if I were to sit and look at when I astral projected, I wouldn't necessarily say it was like traveling, astral projected. So I was like, I didn't get very far, you know? Um, and I'll probably tell that experience in a bit, but when that happened, I feel like in the initial state, it was like myself, but then when I became aware and my ego took over, that's when I got ripped back into my body. Uh, However, I've had another experience where I don't think maybe ego was present. Maybe it was because, but I had to constantly be keeping it in check because, um, oh, okay, we'll get into that. That's a good question. I really like that. Um, I mean, are we really separate from? I don't know. That's great. My brain is like turning and I can't like communicate. Um, do you believe that it was an out of body experience, Jess? Really beautiful. Okay, Victoria, I run on autopilot a lot. I was recently told it's a form of disassociating. I thought it was world walking. Oh, I bet. When things like that change, it shakes your whole world. Um, Jess, the moment after the white ring disappeared, yes, I believe it was in a way, because I've never felt that kind of peace before, and it took me like a little bit to feel normal again. And then Victoria says, thanks. Don't ask me where I was. I don't know. I don't remember doing the tasks I was doing. Emery says, yoga has been such a fantastic tool for me to reach deep astral experiences. Emery's, I have found the same thing. And I think why is because you mirror your breath in your body in such a way that if you have like a practice, not like I'm just gonna do some yoga once in a while. If you have a good practice of yoga or even meditation, but for whatever reason, meditation only gets me so far. I find that I have to connect something with like moving my breath and my body and getting into a good state of rhythm with it. A healthy dose of that throughout my day-to-day life has really helped with astral travel or connecting to that part of myself that can tap into that. And 8 or 9 years ago is when I first started doing yoga, and I did yoga every single day for 100 days straight. And that was like, I quit smoking. I didn't even mean to quit smoking. It wasn't like I was trying to quit smoking. I literally, like, after like 70 days, I was outside smoking a cigarette, and I was just like, yeah, this is my last cigarette. Okay, cool. My mind was so clear. My mind, like, I was so connected to that part of me. Who is she? She's gone. But yeah, I really agree. Not to be like, oh my god, yoga is the only way to astral travel. But for myself, I've found that it's been really helpful for so many things, but specifically for connecting to astral experiences. So I agree. Jess said, I think you guys are awesome in the conversation today, by the way. Because this is something that I definitely don't want to be the only one talking about. So I'm really grateful you guys are here and like participating. This is great. Jess says, I think he and Spirit were just letting me know he was free and not trapped anymore. So Kate says, I've never worked with the astral plane before because I had no idea where to start, and I'm so excited about this. Kate, I'm really excited too, and I'm really excited to connect with you very soon for our astrological reading. Woo woo. Emery's, oh my god, thank you, Lennon. Great to see your lovely self. We miss you. Okay. Let's keep going. Right? We started right off the bat talking about death and dying and energy, and because I think a lot of people, when they start like seems like we should be reading up on shamanism in conjunction with astral projecting. If that's what you feel drawn to do, go for it. There's so many things other than shamanism that also connects to things about the astral realm and connecting to out-of-body experiences. Shamanism is one of those things. And we have read a book about shamanistic, ways or things, earth magic. And we might do another one in the future. And that's cool. If that's where you're feeling drawn to, go for it. I'd like to just explore this topic in however way it manifests. And if that's how it's manifesting for you, perfect. So let's go to chapter 2, and on page 12, which I don't know if any of you have the book and you're doing this with me. Chapter 2 is called You Are Here Now. It just seems like they're hand in hand, especially with all the talk of death. Yep, that's a big part of the shamanistic, learning and mindset is death and the transition and connecting to all energy. So that is a good thing to mirror if you're trying to mirror something with it. Wow. Can you guys hear me still okay? I'm really trying to project but not hurt myself. So chapter 2 is called You Are Here Now. On page 12, speaking of time, I made notes for myself. Hold on. I'm thinking about time. I want to say where time is made up and even though important. Wow, to think. Okay. So kind of sticking on this mindset where we can put ourselves into thinking about transitioning from the physical body to the energetic body world. I want to talk about time and what time means to you, what time really is, which is gonna sound so stupid and like cliche, but like time is not real. But really it's not. It's a made up thing so that we can all consciously kind of program and plan and go through our day-to-day lives with the same consciousness about what's going on right now. And what's wild to me is that right now I'm in one time zone and a lot of you are in another time zone, but we're all consciously aware, if we think about it, that it's time. You know what I mean? Like there's a certain time. What time is it? In fact, when I read this paragraph right now, the people who are here, I would like you to type in what time it is for you right now. Because for me, it is 10:56 a.m. So what time is it for you? Speaking of time, no need to stress over it. It does not exist once we pass the material realm. For now, however, we must use it wisely. This is essential to our own journey. We gain great reward in the higher realms if we live our human lives filled with good intention and free of unhealthy attachments. No matter, you may wonder how to live in a physical world and not develop any attachments. This is the conflict. It is basically impossible to live here without attachments. We become attached to our loved ones, our pets, our home, our favorite sweater. These are all necessary to thrive in human form. These kinds of attachments create loving energy and the happiness we require to complete our mission here. So in this sense, attachments can be beautiful things. They can help us bond and experience the joy that human love can bring. But notice, even these beautiful, loving attachments end up in human disappointment. And that's because we get too attached to things that are just temporary. So let me see what time. Oh, someone's in the same time zone as me. Victoria says it's 9:57 Central. Hillary says it's 10:57. Oh my God, y'all are like in the same time zone as me. That was wild. A lot of the times I get people saying that they're from like other countries and things like that, but we're all kind of around each other right now. But the thing that is that I wanted to talk about with time is that when you're dreaming, think about a time where you dream or where you recall your dream, you know, that feeling, that space that you're in. You might have an awareness of like, I need to get here, I'm going to be late, but like there's not actually time. There's not actually like a space in which things are linear like we do it in the physical realm. And what is always so interesting to me too is that halfway around the world, somebody is still in a consciousness around a time and what they need to be doing or what's happening or the time of day or maybe the date it is and what they're going to celebrate next or, you know, their routines or their habits and like how time is such a concept that we every single moment of our day are at least a little aware of. Like, okay, I have 20 minutes that I have to get to here, or I only have an hour nap because I need to get to do this, I need to do this. Like, time is a concept in which we as humans have developed to stay on a connected plan for navigating our day. Businesses are open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. or, you know, you have to be to work by this time or, wow, you guys, the snow is just coming down. It is crazy. And thinking about how that in our everyday life is something that is running like a hamster wheel, whether we're like thinking about time or we're just enjoying a Netflix show, you know, you still have an awareness of like, how long is this episode? Or when you do, you're still aware of it. When it comes to meditation or when it comes to astral travel, it's very apparent that that is not a thing. And that is really hard to think about or to accept or to kind of meld into, because every single day we've been taught as little kids that you're in timeout for 10 minutes, or okay, 5 more minutes and we'll be done, or at 8 p.m. we're gonna go to bed, it's bedtime. You know, like this concept around time is something that we have really used as such an important tool. I'm not saying time is bad, but when you think about going over into, you know, astral traveling or experiencing energetic bodies, or even again the concept around death and detaching from the physical realm, what's scary is that like unstructured form of like fitting into a box around what day is it, what time is it, do I have to get here. That's hard for us to put into mind or acceptance because it's so against what we've been conditioned to experience. All right, I'm in Virginia. All right, Louise, hi. Yes, we got a different time. Denmark says, or not Denmark, Louise says in Denmark it's 16:58 a.m. The passage of time can seed me into an anxiety attack. Exactly, Laura, and that is where I want us to, that's where I want us to tap into the things that we fear. So when I was 14 or 15, having these overwhelmingly energetic throws into an out of body experience as a way to like detach myself from like all of this energy that I wasn't shielding myself from, it sent me into a panic because I started thinking like, what is happening? Who am I? Where am I? I'm gonna die someday. And that fear of the attachment sends you into a panic because it's not, it goes against what we've been conditioned here in the physical realm to know is true. It is very hard to even think about, this is gonna get real deep, y'all. Ready for this? Think about this. We have a concept that there's boundaries to everything. So I'm in a room with a roof and a structure. But even outside of that, I'm in my city. And outside of that, I'm in my state. And outside of that, keep going up and up, there's clouds, there's an atmosphere, I'm in my planet. But in our mind, it's very difficult to accept infinite everything. Because the more you try to keep and go, like start small and be like, I'm in my clothes, I'm in my chair, I'm in my room, and keep expanding on that and go, I'm in a solar system, I'm in the universe. And that's it. Because this plane is, we don't often think beyond that. And our mind wants to compartmentalize everything. Our mind wants structures and borders and boundaries to know like where, okay, but what's holding it together. It's hard for us to imagine that things are just there, you know? And that is where that fear lies, or that not understanding, that unknown, that fear, wherever it is, whether you're thinking about like, okay, but what holds the universe together? Or time is not real, or I'm afraid to astral project because what if I disconnect from my body and I never come back? Like that fear that makes you want to like, no, turn away and not think about it. I encourage you to dive into that, because that is where you're going to find, gently, go into it gently and cautiously, and just like experience, what is it? What am I fearing? What is making me panicky? What is it that I don't understand? Is it just because my brain has a hard time comprehending that as a topic? Or am I afraid to lose who I am? It's ego based, or it's just the fear of the unknown. Those spaces, when we talk about this topic, or even moving forward with anything else, where you start and feel panicky, where you start and feel that fear of like the unknown, that's where magic is. Because you can learn yourself, you can learn about yourself, you can learn about why and how and what you're panicking about. Again, don't just like throw yourself into a panic attack to like learn what it is. But I feel like that's where life's keys are to journeying further into ourselves. I told you, we're getting serious. Okay. I feel that, Laura. It's good shadow work, but difficult. Exactly, Laura. It's just shadow work, but like very intense. It's not like shadow work like, I have parental trauma. It's like, I'm afraid of dying because I don't know what happens. You know, it's wildly contrasting shadow work. Let's not set an alarm to get out of the planes. Exactly. Okay, Hillary, I would love to sit down and have coffee with you. Aw, I would love to sit down and have cold coffee with you too. I could literally talk about this topic for hours. So could I. So could I, sis. Yeah. My Mercury's in the 9th house of Sag, so I'm all about this. Yeah. Victoria, someone tell my dog time isn't a concept. She keeps waking me up way too early every morning. I just heard something in your background. Sounds like a choir. I love that for me. Hello? I don't know what it is. I don't know what was that, guys. I'm scared. Evil. Lennon, I like to visualize a circle that is not a full drawn circle, but a series of dashes that makes up a circle. The thought that my mind made up a circle out of those dashes helps me to conceptualize. Yeah. Victoria, I had it too. I thought it was crazy. I heard it too. Oh wait, everyone heard it? Hello? Maybe you're hearing the diffuser. If not, it's probably the spirits. The house ghost sings. Yeah. Okay. So it's an hour into the live stream and we're doing really good. We're bringing up really deep, great conversations. Although it's about that time, Sam has to pee. So you guys get to stare at the wall, talk amongst yourselves. I will be back in a flash. The next thing that we're going to be talking about is preparing for soul travel. I did, but I thought it was a tractor trailer. What? No tractor trailer. I love that for me. So, if you would like to ask each other questions or bring up something funny or about your astral travel, do so in the comments. I can never hold my bladder. I get like really excited and I drink a bunch of liquids before this, so I'm gonna pee. I'll be right back. In true Samantha live stream fashion. How's it going? I'm gonna make more coffee. Keep talking amongst yourselves. Thank you very much. I cut up fresh cantaloupe and it is so good. Alright, while we're taking this little break, do you guys want to take a look outside again? The snow is crazy. Continue to talk amongst yourselves while I eat my cantaloupe. Look at that. Look at how freaking pretty my bamboo plant is in the way. Look at all that snow. Do you see the snow on the, do you see this on the railing? Look at how many inches we've gotten already. And it is just coming down. It is not showing, it ain't showing signs of stopping. All right. My coffee's almost ready. Continue to talk amongst yourselves. Thanks. I love that this is my brand. Alright, let's talk more deep shit. I love fresh cantaloupe. Am I right? So, that snow is crazy. After this, I am going to... Sam, you're making us hungry for ginger cookies and you're not even eating cookies. I want to go back and see... yeah, chat, y'all come here often. It's 11:11. Cute. Thanks for. Oh my god, that's so cute. It's 11:12 now, so I missed it, but cute. 11:11 on 11:11. And I walked away from my live stream. Oh my god, your guys' chat. I'm like scrolling up. You guys are so. I love you guys so much. Like, I step away for a few minutes, and all of a sudden a spirit shows up. I didn't hear it, but y'all, like, I think you guys are ready. Like, when you watch my live streams, you're more aware of things going on in the background or noises than I even am, because I think you know that, like, anything is going to happen in this house. And I think we're going to be talking very soon about a mimic spirit that we've just come into, like, realization is a thing. So Skylar keeps hearing my voice. And I've realized in the last year that when I hear spirit, a lot of the times I say, like, that sounded like me. Like, why am I hearing, like, my voice, but, like, as a spirit? And over the weekend, we had one of our friends say, oh, yeah, that's a mimic. And we're like, what? What is a mimic? What is that? She's like, a lot of the times they're negative. I was like, I don't feel anything negative. I've never felt anything negative in this house. I don't allow that in my space. But that concept, I've never heard of that before. But I think now's not the time to go into that, even though I'm sure that you guys all want to now. But let me go back up. My husband and I were talking about moving to somewhere with the snow when 11/11 happened, and I noticed it. Cute! Wow, you weren't joking. Love you too, Sammy. Snow day, snow day. Okay, but after this, I'm going to Graham's house. And I'm taking her to the dentist because she is getting 2 teeth pulled, and I'm staying over. This is basically our live stream now. Yeah, basically you guys took that over, and I'm fine with it. I don't want to be in charge of everything. I will lead, but it's nicer if somebody else does it. When I was a teenager, I'd be in my room, my mom and my brother would be downstairs, and I swear I'd hear her calling me even though she hadn't. That could also be like you know, like the phantom, what do they call those, like phantom rings, where like you feel like your phone is going off in your pocket, but it's not. So that's great. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking into mimics because I didn't know that that was a thing. Because there's been so many weird experiences where people have been like, I heard you saying hello upstairs, or I thought you were talking to me and then you weren't. Not like, oh, I heard someone talking to me. Like, my voice, what's happening to my voice? First person to know what movie that comes from in the comments is my favorite person ever. My voice, what is happening to my voice? Okay, anyways, Next, what are we looking at next? Here's chapter 3, Preparing to Soul Travel, on page 23. I ain't seeing nobody in the comments telling me where that's from. Y'all don't like animated movies? That was a hint. My brother would know. My brother and I loved that movie. My voice! What's happening to my voice? Warm coffee is so much better. Emperor's New Groove? Oh, shit! Yes! That's what I thought, Malin. You're, Emperor's New Groove. When Couscous gets her to drink the wrong potion bottle and she turns into like a cat. She's like realizing, she's like, my voice! What's happening to my voice? That movie is hilarious. Okay, I digress. My pee break took me into a different mood here. Speaking fluently in movie quotes has served me well today. Literally, you are my favorite person. I haven't seen it. Victoria, it's hilarious. It is a animated movie from, I think, the early 2000s, maybe? I think. Maybe late 90s? I think it was 2000s. And it's so hilarious. I would watch that right now and enjoy it. Although I'm a big fan of animated kid movies anyways. So, let's get deep again, shall we? The thing about this is it's hard not to be like really serious and intense when talking about this conversation, because it's something that like it's hard to like joke about. But it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be intense. It's just sometimes hard to go into this topic lightheartedly. You went on a Disney boycott. Interesting. It's amazing. A must watch. It has a lot of subtle adult humor, but in an animated movie. Plus llamas. Literally stole the words right out of my mouth. And there's so many adult jokes that like were funny delivered to kids because of the timing, but they didn't know. Like it was not inappropriate for kids, but it was like very geared towards, if the parents watching too, they're gonna enjoy it. So that's really good. And I'm not like a huge David Spade fan. David Spade, is that his name? David Spade, who plays Couscous. That's his name, right? Oh my god. Anyways, you know what? I'm not a huge fan, but that movie, that's friggin' hilarious. Kronk. Squeakity squeak McSqueaker McSqueakins. Okay, anyways. 23. Time to get serious, children. Okay, preparing to soul travel. Page 23. Where did I want to read? It may take some time. Let the convo go from here. Body electric buzzing. Heart rate for fast. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about how let's talk a little bit about how you can be in the spirit. No, you can be in the physical form and connect with spirit, and it feel more natural than thinking about going to another plane to visit or to communicate with them there. We're much more used to and can wrap our minds around this world, this plane, because we're in it every day. But I'm going to read this paragraph and then I'm going to let the conversation go from here. There's a few things that I thought I could bring up to give you guys examples on where we can go with the conversation, but on page 23, there is a, at the top of the page, I'm going to read the bottom of this one paragraph. Actually, no, I'm going to start at the top of the page. These other dimensions vibrate at much faster rate because they are not physical in nature. They lack the weight and density of the material world. As soon as I heard material world, like Madonna came into my mind. Cause we are living in a material world. And then bring it back down. They vibrate so quickly that because of the slow speed we vibrate at due to the weight of our physicality, we cannot keep up. Is that a fat joke? Because offended. Through meditation and other ways of adjusting or speeding up our vibration, we can visit these other worlds that vibrate at a faster rate. I've had a hard time wrapping my mindset around that concept because I'm gonna keep going, but thinking about how the other realms are higher. If I sing to Palo, you guys are my people. Oh my god, you guys literally are my people. I love you so much. Uh, uh, um, sorry. Because, let me just keep reading because I'll get into that. It may take some practice to call upon this ability on demand, but those who have trained and practiced can change vibration at will. Mediums do it when communicating with the dead. They can adjust their vibration to find the right frequency to communicate with and receive messages from the other side. Working as a spiritual medium, I often conduct readings during which I can talk to the dead. Many of the people who have come to me for these readings will become very emotional when connecting with their loved ones who have departed this earth. Now, I'm skipping down a little bit. It is much easier for a spirit to meet us on the physical plane rather than us to go to them because they are not saddled with the density of the physical body like we are, but it does take them quite a bit of energy to match our vibration, and vice versa. Although the physical body has expired, the spirit or energetic essence of the loved one continues and is very much the same person they knew and loved in the physical body. The amazing thing I've learned in being a medium is that the person dies, they enter the spirit world the same way with the physical world. They don't change personalities or who they are, they just change form, and of course, they now reside in a different plane of existence on the other side. And that's where that part of the conversation kind of like gets a little question marky from here because I have a few different ways that I think about that, and I don't know if I've really settled on one thing because I still have questions myself. But my grandma and I, this February, my grandpa will have been passed for 10 years, which is kind of a big thing. And I very rarely feel him. I call upon him a lot, and he might make his presence known, but my grandma and I like to say, like, we don't feel him around us, but I think because we're okay knowing that, like we don't want him to stay and feel like he needs to come and be around us all the time. Like, he's off doing bigger and better things. At this point, 10 years later, we hope that he's venturing all over somewhere else. We try not to need him like that because we can't expect him to still be around us all the time when, like, 10 years later, you probably are like, do your thing, travel, experience, you know? But let me go back because I think you guys are really getting into some stuff here. Jess, really sorry, I'm trying to project here. Do you think overthinking messages from spirit or the universe can put them off or make them want to come around less? No, that's my personal opinion and the straight up fact. No, I don't. Like, when you overthink, you're kind of closing off the line of communication. Yes to that, but no to the first part. I don't think spirit gets put off. I don't think that that's the way that spirit works or feels. I don't think that in that space there's time or space for them to feel put off, if that makes sense. But yes, I do think that by you overthinking it, you block yourself off from them. So you put yourself off from reaching, as the author puts, the vibrational state to receive or to connect with messages. It could be as simple as, like, the feathers my grandfather leaves me and me going, that could have been from my coat, or going like, aw, I'm thinking of my papa, I love you, I miss you, thank you if you sent that. It could be as simple as that, or it could be as more complicated as there's a feather, he's near, let me tap in, let me ground, let me like really set into and try to connect with his energy. But I do feel like, yes, we can put ourselves off from connecting to messages or other energy bodies, or, journeying outside of our physical form. But I do not believe that spirit feels that way about us. I do feel that spirit might back off from, when I say spirit, I mean it could be a general spirit, it could be a deity, it could be if you believe in that, it could be a loved one that's crossed over. I do believe that there are times in which that those energies might be doing something else, or they might recognize that we're not in a place to receive messages, or, so I don't think it's a put off. I think it's more so like, I'll come back later. You don't seem ready for this, or here, I'll drop this here and you might realize it later when you are ready. But yeah, that's my opinion. Which is why but also that's kind of weird because sometimes when I think about the goddess energy that I feel like I've literally tapped into with Coventina and Diana or Artemis, I never have ever felt from my spirit guides, especially my main spirit guide, which is really the one that I work with. I don't really work with the other two. I'm just aware of them in certain times and spaces. But my main spirit guide is just pure love and light and guidance. And as cheesy and as woo-woo as that sounds, like, she is only there to love, to guide, and protect me. And I've never felt her getting irritated. I've never felt that, like, that persona from her. She doesn't, like, and I say her because she feels very feminine to me. And, the name that she gave me for her is very feminine. But I have never felt that from her. However, these goddess type energies, or these more like working with Coventina, or working with Diana or Artemis, things like that, they do feel, or maybe that's what I'm projecting or what I'm perceiving as very much, they feel like they can get irritated. And in this community, when we talk about working with deities, or we talk about matron and patron and things like that, they have very humanistic personalities. However, if they are spirit, if they're in spirit form, it's hard for me to think that they would get put off, or that they would get irritated, or that they would have some sort of persona like that. So I kind of feel like deity or personification of like archetypes of those levels are in a different section of spirit for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, my spirit guide and my, like, the goddesses I feel connected to, they all live in the same part of like energy to me, but they're in different categories. And I don't know how else to put that into terms, because I don't know if I completely understand it myself. However, I can say that my workings and experiences and connections with Coventina is wildly different than my main spirit guide that I work with. That's all I can say. I don't know. It's weird. I do. Okay, you guys are answering Jess in her own way. I've been having problems with that recently because I feel like I'm new to this, so I don't know how to process it. Jess, don't feel like pressured. Don't feel, like, you're here, you're thinking about it, you want to learn about it. That's what's exciting, and that's like, you know, that's what's beautiful about it. And it's gonna feel weird. I still feel weird. I don't know. Like I'm saying, I'm talking to you guys now. I've had experiences and I have like feelings and I have, connections with certain things. But my one belief about one thing, if I step back and think about the way that I think about spirit in general, as opposed to like deity or archetypal energies with like Coventina and Diana, and then thinking about spirit, what I think spirit is for my papa or people that have crossed over, or what I think about spirit as like my main spirit guide, all of those three things are wildly different in contrasting to the belief of like what that is. And will I ever know? I don't know, maybe. But it's a hard thing to journey into if you're just starting, so don't get over intimidated. You're going to overthink as a human, but it takes practice to receive messages. That's a really nice way to sum that up, Lennon. Victoria, is a human thing to want to control everything, and trusting into the unseen can be scary and complicated. Exactly, which kind of goes back to what we were talking about um, with like panicking or the worry or the the fear of the unknown. Yeah, I have screwed up my spiritual experience by trying to force it. Oh yes, my biggest my biggest thing, and when I don't mean this as a threat, when I say careful what you wish for, was very apparent for me last year. Was it last year? Um, yeah, I think it was last year around my birthday time when I did my float tank experience. I did make a video about it. Actually, I've done 2 videos on my float experience. Oh my god, Skylar, Skylar's home, and seeing him walk through the snow, that my little Texas baby. It's so funny because it is coming down. Um, he's only experienced a few months of living in the snow. He's coming in. You guys hear him? My little Texas babe.
Are you live streaming?
I am, and George is sleeping from overnight, so. How are you?
Oh my god, it's snowing.
I know. I've turned the camera and like showed them a few. Emery says, "Aw, our boy is growing up." How was your day? We're talking about astral travel.
That was what I did in the car to make it here.
Did you guys hear him? He said, "Oh, that's what I did in the car to get myself
I
here."
pulled into a Buscemi's and did a 360. Not really.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, really? Are you
I
okay?
pulled into a Buscemi's. My car was just sliding.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you freaking out?
It's already, no, I wasn't freaking out.
Okay, good. This is actually some of the scariest to drive in because it probably isn't being plowed yet. Or no
the
ice.
plows aren't out.
And the ice isn't down and it's just like wet and slick.
Yeah.
What gets worse is that if it like does, I don't know. But it's fine. You did good. You're here. You're safe. Feel free to eat that cantaloupe. It's amazing. Let me check in here. My second float anyways. Oh, okay, wait, hold on. It kind of helped with my mom's passing. My second float. Oh, Victoria. Yeah, so you've had one recently then. Okay, guys. Ugh, I have so many questions. This is all amazing. Thank you. Jess, ask away. This is what we're here for. Yes, I'm leading this. Yes, I have my opinions and my ideas, and I'm going to try to keep this going in somewhat of a structured way. But at the same time, like, I'm here to learn too. I'm here to bounce your guys' experiences and questions and a conversation for myself as well. That's what a book club is, you know? I love that. We're all coming in at a different mindset around this. Laura says, I had an experience much the same through meditation and I was trying to force things. It ended in a really bad anxiety episode. Yeah, and I wouldn't say it was like forcing it with this float experience, but I was like so open, and what I was asking for, I thought I was ready for, and I was, in turn I realized, but I had really, really asked for it. And looking back at how I prepared and what was surrounding me, even in the video, if you guys watch that video, and I'm very like, oh, I'm so excited to like run in a field and connect with my spirit guides. I'm so open. Like I'm talking in the car about, which that feels like a totally different person than me now, but in the car, me prepping, I'm about to go in for my first float experience. I'm so excited. You can see in the car, literally, spirit lights all over. There's like orbs and light and dust, and it's like, it was all over in the car behind me, like almost stupid. You can watch me talk and see all these little orbs just going off all around me, and I'm like, hopefully I'll connect. It's supposed to be so spiritual. And then I went into the float experience. I sat down. I asked the guide to give me a couple minutes before so that I could like journal, and I like have in my witchy this is actually what I wrote. My witchy book club, or my bullet journal and book of shadows. In the back, I really was like meditating and trying to connect with spirit, and I was like, what do I need to know? Like, how can I connect with you more? Ancestors and spirit guides, thank you. I love you. Please communicate with me during this float spa session. Help me manifest my intentions and see more of you in my path. And that is what I wrote. And I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I love this. I want to connect with my spirit guides. And literally, they were like, oh, okay. Are you ready? Here's what you need to know. Here's, if you think you're ready, here you go. And getting out of that experience, coming out of like when the float session ends, and if you want to watch the video, I'll go more into it. It's very vague because what I was being brought up was very deep shadow that I'm not even still to this day ready to talk about. But it was like, I was such a like, careful what you wish for. Shadow work is very intense, and I was like, I'm ready. I love this. And then spirit was like, here you go. And I was like, too much, too soon. I'm not ready. And that's anyways, yeah. Yeah, I was really shooken up. Yeah. Okay, cool. Really just being able to talk to someone and connect with people who are on the same wave as I'm trying to be will help. Yeah, for sure. That is what this group is about. Okay, what else do we got going on here? So, thinking about the vibrations of where the physical form and the physical realm is versus the astral realm or other planes. I was thinking when I was reading that about when I get clues, and I've kind of developed over the years what my communication with spirit trying to communicate with me is, because often I'm a very like flighty mental person, so to get my mind switched to like spirit, I've asked for them or spirit to connect with sensations in my physical body, and there's certain things like electric buzzing that know to cue me in, or ringing in my ears is a very stereotypical one, but that is very true for me. There's, if you've gotten a tarot reading from me before, there's a good possibility that when I'm talking very, very fast. And part of that is because once I tap into that vibration of where I feel like I'm channeling directly from source, or the messages aren't coming from like my textbook knowledge on the cards, when I start getting into a good flow, like I talk fast normally, but if you've gotten a reading from me, there's a good chance that you have been like, whoa, she's talking so fast. Because the messages come so quickly that when I find a space of like locking into just like automatic verbalization of what's coming through, it is fast for me. And if I don't talk fast, it's hard to like associate those messages because they just kind of come and funnel through. And I found that I would like to get better at slowing that down, because I think it's a little off-putting for people because it's like so much coming at them at once. But that idea behind high vibration, I can see how that translates with my communication when I am directly connecting to what I feel like is something of a different energy, if that makes sense. And with my body, to get my mind where I need to go to like snap into that, there's electric buzzing. A lot of the times it happens like on my left shoulder, but it happens a lot in my the rest of my body, like weird twitches or weird. All I can say is it feels like an electric buzz. Like if I was being shocked, or if like you wet your finger and stick it in the socket, you get a little electrocution. There's certain things in which my body vibrates at like a really high rate, and I go like, I kind of snaps me into like thinking like, what is my body doing? That's not a normal cough or like hiccup or, you know, like twitch in the body. Like that is energy that's touching me, or that my body is reacting to energy. Um, and that's how I would say I connect with the idea behind higher vibration in other areas, um, in other realms, because I can directly correlate to that and how I connect with divination or connecting to spirit messages and things. However, there has been certain instances in which, hi Donna from Ontario, Canada, welcome. We are diving into some deep shit today. um, uh, so, um, there was, and if the person is here, I'm not going to go into detail, but if the person is here, I honestly can't remember who it was that I was talking to, but this was probably a year ago, maybe a little less. But there was somebody that I was talking to in an Instagram direct message. And for whatever reason, we got on the topic of spirit or something. And I very, very rarely do this because I don't like to just start channeling or giving people unsolicited messages from spirit. But I was like very upfront, like, look, something weird is happening and I'm channeling spirit directly for you. Can I like let this flow? And she was very, very nice and was like, yeah, please go ahead. Like, and so I remember it was probably one of the most clear spirit connections I've ever had. It was like very easy and very clear and clean. And the space that I was in didn't feel like a buzzing high vibration. It kind of felt like nothing. Like it almost felt like there was nothing else around me except my typing on my phone and these like words that were coming into my mind and these feelings in my body. So something would happen and the translation between that and what I was supposed to be conveying was like it just worked. And in that sense, it was a different feeling than when I was in like my tarot readings, for example. And it's like this is coming across and it's like up here. This felt very like this. I know I'm not describing that very well, but there'd be like a word like cinnamon that I would see in my word in my mind, and it was obviously very out of context. And I was like, why am I seeing the word cinnamon? That's how I would put it up, and then the conversation would go from there. And she'd be like, whoa, why did you say that? That's crazy. This is that. And then as she's trying to explain it to me, I'm getting like another thing, or I'm getting a hit on my body. And connecting with spirit in that way did not feel the same as thinking about it as like a high vibration. It almost felt like I was sidestepping into a different plane. I didn't feel like I needed to raise my vibration. It felt like I was just kind of like unfolding into another space. Is that, you know, I don't know if it was exactly Zen state, Victoria, because I did very much feel still present in my body. It was almost just like I unlocked this little door in which I was like, boop, oh hey, like I'm clearly communicating all of these random words and terms and messages that like don't make any sense to me, but I'm typing them out, and the person I'm talking to is like, that's exactly something that I would like, that's the street I grew up on. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's just so when I watch these things like medium shows or whatever, I'm like, oh my god, how did she know that, you know? And having that experience of like, let's say this is an example of something that happened in a conversation, and I don't want to go into detail because that was private conversation, but literally the word, I think it was cinnamon, and I was like, why am I smelling cinnamon? Why do I think cinnamon? Like, is there somebody that liked cinnamon, or what am I trying to connect to with cinnamon? And they were like, something about like that's the street in which I grew up on, or something like that. And you would think that that is totally random, but it was a way for this door that I had stepped through to connect to the door that I came back from, into like letting me know that there was like something that ran in between it. Anyways, I don't know how I got to that part, but I guess I was trying to think of like the way that it feels in different situations for me personally when I am thinking about connecting to other energies or other realms, and how the author is talking about it's easier for them to come to the physical realm versus us to leave because we are bogged by the density of the physicality that we live in this realm. And I think that's why a lot of people struggle with the idea behind astral travel, but also around being able to like accept and learn to get into that. Um, so, Lennon, do you have a definite ways to bring your vibrations down afterwards? I have issues with headaches after high vibration situations. I've struggled with headaches all of my life, but that is not something that I deal with after that. If I am not careful, I will feel very drained and very tired. And I sometimes will forget to kind of detach or kind of give myself rest when I get into a really deep um, when I get into a really deep connection with spirit. And either my tarot readings, when I'm doing my tarot readings, are very electric and it charges me up. And I think that's when I've been really proud of myself, is when I allow those readings and those messages to, instead of draining me afterwards, but I use that as like an energy source or a power up of like, okay, I'm doing this and I'm translating this message and I'm using this tool to communicate to this person, but I'm not going to let it drain me. And I'm not perfect. You know, there are readings or there's times in which I'm communicating or connecting with spirit, or even just studying somebody's natal chart where I can literally let it drain me. But I think that the more I've done it, the more I've realized that I could either let it charge me up or I can deplete my energy if I'm not careful. And I do have like steps and things that I do, but sometimes it just it's different every time still, but it's more so an awareness of like being in control of how I feel. And that's kind of as simple as that. Um, I struggled really a lot in my life with headaches and migraines, and when I cut out dairy um, and cut down on processed sugars, that is when my headaches completely went away. So I don't know if that was just energy, and also my spiritual path has developed and I've gotten better at protecting my energy, so it could have been like, a combination of a bunch of things. But yeah, I think that mine was more dietary with headaches, but feeling drained is more common for people when they're trying to work with spirit or divination or even just like um, channeling or anything like that. So fascinating. Did that experience feel any different in your body? I feel spirit in my chest and I have only ever felt it there. What? In your chest. Um, hmm. No, man, I feel spirit all over my body when I am letting myself get there. Because I feel like I have agreed with myself that my whole body is the tool to be able to get more messages. Not that that's better because I do that, but I think that's just the way that I've chosen to like communicate. Um, and I've set like ground rules with myself in energy to like know like one half of my body is for masculine energy, one half of my body is for feminine energy. Certain twitches, certain movements, certain buzzes, certain feelings and sensations ringing in my ears or drowning out of sounds or getting choked up when I'm communicating with spirit, or um, words popping into my third eye or things like that is all a way for me to know what and how is happening. So I feel it all over, but I think that's only because I've consciously made that decision as like, if I'm feeling something at the top of my head, that's going to be a way to translate a different message than if I feel my feet are being stuck to the ground. Do you know what I mean? Um, but that's cool because you can always harness to that feeling in your chest and use that as your own tool as well. Everyone's different, and I'm no expert, but I can just tell you what I've experienced and what I've tried to do, I guess. Um, Try coffee afterwards. Yeah. Drain yourself and then use coffee as the elixir of energy. I love that. Bare feet on the earth is free unless it's cold and wet spring. I'm a very physical person and it's hard for me to transcend beyond my physical body. I get that. I totally do. I would say my first reaction to that, Kate, is to, instead of telling yourself I'm a very physical person, it's very hard for me to transcend past that. I would use that concept as a tool. So I would say I'm very connected to my physical body. So I'm going to use my connection to my physical body as a way for me to transcend. So part of the way that you can get into astral projecting, which we haven't even gotten into, um, but as you're laying there and as you're trying to make that decision, use, instead of fighting against, I want to disconnect from my physical body, use it as a way to tap into every single part of your body. Like I'm talking about with spirit, I'm using my whole body as a tool to know and to feel the different sensations. So do things like when you're laying there, even in meditation, you can say, I'm now focusing on the top of my head. What does that feel like? Do I feel the blood in my head? Do I feel any air that's around it? Can I feel my hair attached to my follicles? Use your body to kind of scan things and go to different parts and to connect with that and what that feels like. Get really, really rooted and grounded into what your body feels like and its reactions to different things. Like I said, if you focus on your fingers, do they start to twitch when do they start to itch? Do they feel heavy? Can you not really even feel them? Do you feel them? Are they warm? Are they cold? Using that as a way, because you're so connected to your physical body, allow that to be what is your on and did I get disconnected? Did you guys like not even hear anything that I was just saying? Did you guys hear anything that I was saying? Did you guys hear what I said about the on and off switch? No. Anyways, that would be my suggestion, Kate, is to, instead of telling yourself that you can't because you're such a physical person, tell yourself, I'm such a physical person that I'm going to use my body as my on and off switch for being able to really connect. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Earthing and doing grounding meditation through root visualization, the things that are helpful. It mostly happens with others, people that I'm feeling their vibration or something. Love bare feet. It's part of my. Okay. I hate wearing shoes. I feel so much more free when I'm barefoot. Okay. Using high hertz music helps me to connect with my own vibration. Okay. All right. So, Lennon is talking about something that, because we've already been talking for 2 hours, and I can't stay on much more than like another half hour, but she's read. So, I do want to keep going. Okay, I gotta kind of like skip up here. I am going to read to you. We're skipping to chapter 4, page 33, and it is like it's like the last. This section is where it actually starts going into like techniques and actually talking about like prepping yourself, and what you can do for astral traveling. So let's end here because I have a couple more things to say about like Robert Monroe Institute and Hertz frequencies and what I experienced 8 or 9 years ago when I started looking into astral travel. And I'm sure some of the other things I wanted to bring up will bring itself back up maybe in part 2 or part 3. So I'm on page 33 in Soul Travel Technique. And I'm just going to start reading this until it feels good to stop. But it says, find a comfortable and quiet place to lie down at a 45-degree angle. It is very important that your physical body is relaxed and comfortable. You do not want any physical interference, for example, pain or discomfort. As you are lying there comfortably, begin to imagine that you can see through your eyelids. I like to imagine that my eyelids are transparent, that I can look around my entire room and view the immediate environment around me. My desk, a book on my nightstand, a picture hanging on the wall. As you progress, you will see more and more details, but expand your imagination if you want to. At this point, you might begin to feel the whole body humming or vibrations and become paralyzed. Do not fight this feeling. Imagine a rope hanging securely above your body. Using your consciousness, grasp the rope and begin to lift yourself up hand over hand. Envision your ethereal body rising out of your physical body. At the point of exit, your physical body should fall asleep. Many students complain that they fall asleep before they are able to project, and you will awaken in the etheric body. This is just how this author is describing this, because I've had multiple different experiences with this, although there is a very constant elements to each time. But I thought this was interesting because it's the first time that she has gone into actually explaining like how to, or how to prepare, let's do it, you know. Now that you have lifted, begin exploring your room. Walk around, start to touch things, touch the walls of your room, touch items in the room, and feel each of them and their textures. Begin to attempt to integrate your metaphysical senses, sight, sound, touch, etc., into this journey. You may feel or experience any of the following: floating, sinking, seeing flashes of light, popping noises, or voices calling your name. These are only your first steps. Exploring your bedroom is only the beginning of what could become a life-changing practice. There's so much knowledge and information there for your benefit, and by taking these unencumbered journeys, you will begin to learn from these higher realms before you depart this lifetime. This will not only help you in your current human incarnation, but will also make the death experience easier when the time comes. Once you've mastered the technique of out-of-body experience, you will begin to feel comfortable roaming around, going wherever you wish. In the next chapters, we will discuss places where you can travel in multi-layers of the energetic universe. These places hold great benefits to you in your human experience. You may find that one of these energetic realms is your place of soul origin. You may find that returning home will bring you great comfort and relief of earthly stresses. So it keeps going on, but I felt like that was a good place to stop. So I thought that was interesting, the way that she described that. Really gave kind of like a, this is how to do this. Here's how you start. But let me just make sure you guys haven't said anything. Oh, whoa. Okay, hold on. I think I missed quite a bit. Sometimes I fall asleep with 528 hertz on. That makes sense. Hi, Linda. How are you? Or anybody else that's just joined in. So what I wanted to talk about was, back in the beginning of the live stream, talked about Robert Monroe Institute, and at this point, I really don't know how I heard about it, but I was very into spiritual learning about all these other people, you know, and different concepts and different realms and different ways of thinking. I was really journeying into yoga and meditation in a deeper way. This was like 8 or 9 years ago. And I was going to a metaphysical unity church. I was, you know, going and seeing Deepak Chopra talk and thinking about like the Course in Miracles and what I thought about the law of attraction, and just thinking about spirit and connecting the spirit and really trying to hone in those tools again. I was like really at a pivotal point in like a spiritual awakening for me. But it was just after my papa passed. When I was introduced to Robert Monroe, again, I don't know how, I must have just been like deep diving and found this. I became obsessed. So Robert Monroe was somebody who, I'm going to be recalling this, and I haven't thought about this in years, so some of this might not be correct, so don't quote me on this. But from what I remember, Robert Monroe was laying in his bed one night, and the next thing he knew, he was up on his ceiling looking down at himself, and he thought that he had died, and he panicked and he got like ripped back into his body. And then that experience, that first out of body astral projection experience, led him on this crazy path of studying and doing all of these things with astral travel. And he actually created an institute in Virginia called the Monroe Institute, and it's still a thing. You can go there, I think. Basically, what this institute is that he created and like really tapped into these hertz vibrations, in which if you listen to them, and he has these meditation and astral projection audio things that will guide you and help you into traveling. From what I remember, this institute, like you can go there, you stay there, and you do these studies in which you have like these like pods or like this bed that you get into, and you're like in, it's not a pod, it's like a bed, and there's like either a curtain or a door, and you're kind of like in this, and you sleep. You basically you journey into this, and you do this over a course of time. You put these headphones on, and his hertz vibrations will play, and you try to astral travel. And what happens is, after then, all of these people get together in like a circle or something, and will write about their experiences and talk about their connections, if anything happened, if they did, then what happened, what did they experience. And this institute has like a ton of records over these experiences of people astral traveling. And if you look up the Monroe Institute, I highly encourage you to start looking at this, because this is good shit. When we're talking about astral travel, looking into the Monroe Institute and the studies and the stories and the things that are behind Robert Monroe is like really fascinating. And so there's stories of people who, in their astral travel, they ended up meeting people. And the one story I remember is somebody was like by a lake, and they were traveling, and then they found themselves by a lake, and there was a gentleman or a spirit there, and they were very aware that they were crossed over, they were spirit, and they were kind of stuck, or they were sad. And so the person who was astral traveling started connecting, started asking questions. Who are you? What are you doing here? Where am I? Like, where do you live? And conversing with this entity, and got names and dates and locations of all these things. The person astral traveling realized that it was a spirit that was actually stuck in, couldn't leave its space, that she had found herself, or he had found herself in a space of, like kind of stuck there. And so they helped them transition on. And when they came and they awoke from this astral travel, they wrote everything down, came to the circle, and what the Monroe Institute does is all the names, all the dates, all of the locations, they have like a fact checker, or like I don't know what the term would be, like a historian, or like a records person that will look up these first and last names, these dates, these areas and locations, and connect them with real life death occurrences. So like this one experience was the name, the place, the time, the experience by a lake. Like somebody had, again, don't quote me on this, but it would have been like this person crashed their car into a lake and died. Do you know what I mean? And this was their name, and this is the location they were at, and this was the time that they had passed over. And this person traveling had connected with this energetic plane and communicated with this source that they had no idea about. And what they do is, when they come back and they talk about their experiences, they then take these records of these people that have been in different spaces, and they will fact check. And there's all of these records of these people who have astral traveled and journeyed in these spaces and connected to things like that. It is fucking fascinating, you guys. And I became obsessed with the Monroe Institute. I had like illegally downloaded a bunch of his at the time because I didn't know what or how to do it. And I had downloaded a bunch of these listening frequencies of the hello, slow motion sweet. Okay, you guys are saying hi to each other. Yeah, so I had downloaded these hertz frequencies in which Robert Monroe guides you into journeying to astral travel. And I had tried all of these different situations in which I would experiment with astral traveling. What I find the hardest when I was in this space was getting too excited. So when I was in a good space, so I might like turn all the lights off in my room. Again, this was like 8 or 9 years ago. I would turn all the lights off in my room. I would put in my headphones. I would make myself really comfy. I would lay in my bed. I would like try and do the things that they tell you to do and like try to relax and to breathe and listen to these hertz frequencies and acknowledge that I'm going to detach. I'm going to go ahead and journey. But what happens is, for me at least, my experience and what I've found is kind of like a thing that happens with a lot of people is they say that you can feel like either a buzzing or like it almost feels like you're not drowning because that's very terrifying, but it almost feels like you're underwater and it's like traveling in between the space of like detaching. It's what I would explain as like train tracks. So like you're laying there, you're really quiet, you're like disconnecting, things are good, and then you feel like this like almost like ripping or like vibrations or like train tracks in your ears. And it's like that is an experience that a lot of people will say happens when they're getting ready to journey and go into the astral realm. Is it's like that in between of like we're doing it. And when that would happen to me and I would realize, oh my, I would go, oh my god, it's happening. It's happening, I'm doing it. and then and then I would get like ripped back into my body, like, no, so close. Um, so that was my biggest struggle, was honestly getting too excited. And I would ruin the experience for myself because um, I would have such high expectations of like going and meeting a spirit and getting the name and the time and the date that these stories had been told to me by the Monroe Institute, like research that I had done, that I was losing like the intention behind why I wanted to astral travel and like what it was. It was like I was looking for this magical spirit experience, and I would get so excited that it would fail or I wouldn't successfully be able to relax enough because I was so excited. That's something that I remember very, very vividly. Also, for a while, I had tried taking baths and doing it in the bath because I felt like I was really relaxed and I wouldn't. Um, yes, his technique of hemp sync is profound. Yeah, it really is. Emery's, that's not at all what I thought it was, and how I have to look into this more. I'm pumped. Emery's, yeah, heavy sync. I knew what you were saying. When I read it, I was like, oh, hey. um, it's fascinating, Emery's, and uh, there's also there's a lot of channels probably now. When 8 or 9 years ago, when I was on and looking and doing all these videos and trying to do this research on the Monroe Institute, there was a lot of content on Monroe Institute, but there wasn't a lot of astral travel channels, like like astral travel channels. That makes it sound like a anyways, there was only like a couple channels that were dedicated on YouTube to astral traveling, and there was this one guy, and I will try and find this channel if it's still around, that I was watching, in which he was very dedicated to the practice of astral traveling and his experiences and things with. There was one time where he floated out of his body, but he was in a different time. Like he felt like he knew that he was in a plane, but he was in a plane or realm of like 1970. So everything, he was still on the earthly plane, but in a different time. So he was like floating, like literally flying and flying around, and he was trying to choose where he wanted to go to. Again, don't quote me on this. This is my memory from watching this video of this guy on YouTube, which I really liked. He seemed very genuine. Um, 8 or 9 years ago, you know what I mean? But I remember him talking about how he had bumped into somebody, in this space, and he was like, they were like, hey, what are you doing here? But it was very apparent that it wasn't somebody from that time zone, but it was somebody else who was also astral traveling, and their astral bodies connected in that same space. So that's also a concept that made me think, whoa, okay. You don't always have to go into like spirits that are crossed over. You know, if your astral bodies are traveling in another plane, he bumped into someone who he was convinced, and he's like, what's your name? You know, and they were trying to exchange names, and they were very aware that they were both there in astral traveling and that they didn't belong there. That is wild to me to think about. And so cool. Could you imagine how amazing that would be to connect with somebody's energetic body like that in the same space and both be able to communicate like, yo, what's up? We here. We in this. What are you doing here? Where are you in the world? What's your name? What's your story? And like connect with someone like that is so cool to think about. And then he talked about going, and there's this room in a building that he worked at that he wanted to discover. He had never been in, and he didn't know what was in there, but he wanted to find out what was in there when he was astral traveling. That was like one of his goals, right? So when he would astral project or astral travel or have this out of body experience, he would try and take himself to his workplace. This is what I remember. Again, don't quote me, but this is what I remember. So he would get into his like workplace building, and he would try and go around and navigate to that room and get inside of the room and take a look around and discover all of the things in that room. And then before he went in that room in the physical realm, he would try to really see if he could experience that space in the astral realm. That is such a cool goal. That is such a cool way to use and to journey into an experience with your subconscious and your inner mind and the astral realm, the energetic body, to have a goal like that in place. So think about that, have food for thought with that. If you do astral travel, Hillary, that is so sweet. Thank you so much. Hillary just super chatted me $9.99. You are amazing. It probably was $10 and it just thank you. Loving this topic and can't wait for the next ones. I am so grateful for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This means a lot, and I know it's $10, but that is big. Thank you for doing that and thinking of me and sending that money magic my way. I appreciate you, and I love this conversation as well. I'm gonna go back and read the comments, but this is really what I was like excited about getting back to astral travel talk about, is because I had forgotten all about this. This was such a big passion of mine, of looking into these stories and all these different things that you can do and all these different experiences people have had. Look at what's going on here. And there's really great resources. So from here, there is no homework for today, except for to read part 2 for our next live stream. But if you want homework, I encourage you to, one, if you've never heard of Robert Monroe or the Monroe Institute in Virginia, please take some time to look into it, to research it. You can Google it, you can watch YouTube videos, look into some of these stories that I'm telling you of people's experiences, because it is fucking fascinating. And that's what I'm here to talk about in Witchy Book Club with you guys today. Not just like, how do we astral travel? Like, I want to talk about the possibilities. I want to talk about what people's experiences have been, what your guys' experiences have been. If you want to have the goal going forward, like that's what I want you guys. That's the homework. It's really open for interpretation. Check out some astral projection content on YouTube. I would expect now that it's a very a denser field of content on YouTube than it was 8 or 9 years ago. You know, any sort of information would have been great, but now I'm sure, you know, that spirituality in the YouTube platform has kind of blossomed into so many things. I'm sure there's oversaturated amount of content. So do your work and look into certain things on YouTube. There were that were based around people's experiences astral traveling or astral projecting and things like that, because I'd love to hear what you guys find. The Witchy Book Club Facebook group is dedicated for us to continue our findings and our conversations. Feel free, if you have a story or if you have an experience or if you liked something in this conversation and you want to keep it going, please feel free to go over to Facebook. You just join the group, guys, if you're not already joined. Facebook.com/groups/Witchy Book Club. It's not for me, it's for you guys. Well, it's for me too, but it's for all of us. If you want to go live in there and talk about your experience astral projecting, if you want to share links to a cool video that you found on astral projecting, or if you just want to share the books that you're reading in there, totally cool with me. But let's continue the conversation on. That's our homework, is really just to open up our mindset and our search fields into thinking and talking. I really do encourage you to look into the Monroe Institute and all of the stories and things that come out of there, because it's really wild. And also anything else that you might find on YouTube. Let me go back. I'm going to read some of these comments I missed, and then we're going to wrap up for today. And I'm going to tell you the next date for our live stream. Slow Motion Sweet says, that's so crazy. I have all Monroe's Gateway experience and have done it in about a year and just decided to start it back up again. That is so amazing. Synchronicity is so cool that you have found yourself here with that. That's so cool. Lennon said, he said in an article I read that his soul self, greater self, knew what he was doing. That's how he eradicates his fear of the realms, which takes me back to the beginning of this video. Exactly. Yes. Which is why I think it's really important when we feel fear or we feel panicked about thinking about dying or death, or even just thinking outside of the physical realm, that's where the magic happens, and that's where the biggest growth can occur, by tapping into that. What does that mean? What does that feel like? And how can we maybe manipulate that to be a tool instead of a fear or weakness? But that's kind of the basis of shadow work. Fear is my only problem. The background I come from has really drilled it into me. While I'm excited to work through it, I'm a little scared. It's awesome that you are acknowledging that, and I think that if we weren't afraid, that there'd be something a little wrong too. Because even if you say you're not afraid, once you start and you feel what that's like, I've told the story multiple times before, and I'm not going to tell the whole thing again, but and I just told it on a recent podcast episode with Skylar. If you don't know, I have a podcast called Speaking of Which. It's really fucky and it's so funny, and we just giggle and we talk about whatever. But I did tell an experience in which I was meditating in a room with 2 other people, and it was very crazy. I was feeling like the room breathe, and then all of a sudden I was up in the corner of the room looking at myself and down upon the room, and I freaked out because I did not know how I got there, kind of like the experience I told about Monroe in his bed. And when I realized, I panicked. I was like, oh my god, did I die? And then I ripped myself back into my body. It literally felt like a rubber band, and then it had been let go and it snapped me back into my body. And that is scary, because when you realize it and you're not ready, you're like, what? Did I die? But yeah, so it can be scary, but we can do this, guys. We're going to talk more about this next live stream, or continue the conversation in the Witchy Book Club Facebook group. I loved this conversation. Thank you so much to Hillary, who contributed $10 today to this live stream and to this group. I love you and I appreciate you, and I love and appreciate anyone who has popped in or out of this conversation and kind of helped to make it what it was. This is probably one of my favorite live streams that we've done so far for Witchy Book Club, and I really mean that. So our next live stream is December 2nd at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will obviously post, yeet. Have a nice day. Yeah, so December 2nd, we will be going over part 2 of the Lightworker'S Guide to the Astral Realm. You can get this on Amazon. You can also get this at Red Wheel Wiser Books or redwheelwiser.com. or you can just look into the topics, discover what this means for you, and show up for the conversation like a lot of people do as well. December 2nd. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you have fabulous days. I am going to go pee again and get myself ready for the rest of my day and go stare out the beautiful window with all the magical snow. It looks like Narnia and it's such a gift. I love you guys. Bye.